the Vietnamese Air Force with the 516 Fighter Squadron, 41st Tactical Fighter Wing. Aircraft was actually designed at the request of the US Air Force for counterinsurgency aircraft. This is in the early 1960s, and at that time not many people knew what an insurgent was. Well, we certainly do in this day and age. Cessna produced an aircraft that was being used for training by the US Air Force. They called it the T-37B. And it actually was the noisiest aircraft in the US Air Force inventory. What they did is they put bigger engines in, 2,850-pound thrust General Electric turbojets, which are only about 3 feet long, very tiny engines. They fitted it with hard points under the wings, 8 in total, and they could carry drop tanks, they could carry bombs, they could carry missiles. Now we're just going to get a bit of what you call a forked approach here by easting, and get ready for a little bit of noise as he pulls up and departs. Here's something back up. Dragged it back out, reintroduced the aircraft, and they manufactured 39 of these, sent them off to Vietnam as part of Operation Combat Dragon to assess their combat capability. But in place of those drop tanks, it can also carry 500-pound bombs, it can carry missiles, it can carry pods for unguided air-to-ground rockets, and it is also fitted with an M134 minigun in the nose. That is the same minigun that Arnie Schwarzenegger seems to be able to carry around and fire at ease at 3,000 rounds per minute. Straight wing design, very simple, not supersonic, has a maximum speed of about 440 knots or about 780 odd kilometres per hour. The machine can also be fitted with side-winder missiles. 14 military air arms have actually employed this, including the North Vietnamese, because at the fall of Saigon, a number of aircraft were captured and placed into service with the North Vietnamese. And they actually used them in combat against Cambodia, and also they had a bit of a border war with China just to the northeast of Hanoi. Very capable aircraft. Surviving aircraft that were actually airlifted out of Vietnam before it fell. They went to South Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, and a number of other Latin American air forces, El Salvador, Guatemala, Colombia, and that equipped Ecuador and Peru during the 1990s. Also been used by those Latin American countries against drug runners. And there's some very exciting footage behind a Cessna 172 trying to avoid the cannon fire from one of these. that that was formed to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the RAAF. It was also a wartime squadron with the RAAF flying Beaufort bombers. They currently fly as the heritage flight for the RAAF, representing the heritage and traditions of the service. Unit was Museum down at Bangkok, together with an incredibly generous donation by David Lowy, the CEO and founder of Temora Aviation Museum, who presented the RAAF with 12 airworthy aircraft, including this machine. Now you might wonder why the South Vietnamese Air Force aircraft is flying with the 100 squadron. It's because this particular aircraft was in combat operations in Vietnam. This aircraft has been beautifully restored and finished by the guys down at Temora. Fitted, as I said, with the markings of the 516 Fighter Squadron, whose unit motto was FIHO, which is Flying Tigers. Now, all of the markings on the aircraft have been hand-painted exactly as they would have been originally. All the maintenance instructions, placards, everything are exactly like the original as it would have flown in Top Gun. Round of applause, even though we can't hear you up there. Great guy. As I said, he's from 77 Squadron. He certainly would be.